Right, welcome back to the channel, folks. In the interest of helping people and trying to save them a bit of cash and a bit of hassle and a bit of time, what we're going to do today is show you some quick, easy repairs you can do if your car fails the MOT, which is going to save you labour, it's going to save you time waiting for the repairs to be done, and more importantly, it's going to get you that MOT pass. So, this Scirocco had a couple of things wrong. We've got a handbrake adjustment to make, which we'll do at the rear in a moment. We've also got the ball joint on this lower arm is essentially got excessive play, so we need to change that ball joint. On these Sciroccos, nice and easy. The ball joint is separate to the arm, it bolts on with 3 bolts. We also had a number plate lamp which was defective. We've already sorted that. Took 30-40 seconds to change the bulb, so that's good. So what we're getting onto now is this. We're going to get this wheel off and then we're going to address this ball joint. So let's get the wheel off and we'll get cracked on. I'll see you when the wheel's off. Time to undo the ball joint then. So I don't know how much you can see on camera, but essentially here's the lower arm. The ball joint bolts to the end and goes through the housing there in the actual bottom of the hub. So to give you a better view, I'll show you what it looks like. Now, they're not difficult, these. They can be a bit tricky to break the ball joint, which is the term used for getting the tapered joint out of the actual housing. But let me find something just to get this open with. 1 second, because gloves on that polythene does not work very well. But the whole point of this is to show you that these are driveway repairs that you can do yourself. So if you're willing to take a little bit of time at them and throw a couple of basic tools at them, you can get them sorted. So that's what the ball joint looks like. It bolts onto the arm like so, and then that bit goes in the housing there. You'll see that there's actually like a Torx fixing in there, and that is to hold that thread when you try and undo the nut, because sometimes when they're worn, that'll spin in the housing. So yeah, that can be a bit of an issue to run into. But if that happens, we'll show you exactly how to get around it. As you can see, the studs are pressed in, comes with new nuts, so we are good to go. So what I'm going to do initially, I'm just going to get this big speed wrench on the ball joint nut to undo it. So that's just on the top here. Let me just get in. I find that these things are really good for this because they grip nicely and you've got a good amount of leverage on there. So right, let's give that a twist. I've got this this nut on the ball joint turning now. I'm just using one of these speed wrenches because, to be honest, they're really good. They fit in nicely and you can almost use them like a ratchet spanner. So they're just superb for this job, rather than having to, because you can't get a ratchet spanner over the top because the clearance isn't there between the ball joint and the drive shaft. So it's a bit easier doing this and just having one of these in there. So it's just a tool I like to use on these kinds of jobs. So we're almost off with that anyway. Right, let's get it all the way to the top, and then I'm going to show you how to separate the ball joint. In order to help you understand how this works, if you look at the bottom of the ball joint shaft here, you'll see it's tapered, so it's on an angle. So the idea is that when the pressure of the housing goes down onto that, it creates like a wedged pressurised fit, and then the nut goes on top. Now, usually you have to beat these into submission. You'll have to get a bar in there, hit the housing with a hammer to shock it loose, or you'll have to use a ball joint separator kit like this. I got this out ready to use, as you can see, and I was just undoing the ball joint nut then, and it just popped, which is absolutely fantastic. I mean, it might show how badly worn it is, but as far as doing the job goes, if you're lucky enough to have that happen, it's a win. But if not, what I'll do is when I get the ball joint out, I'll show you how to set this up anyway, just so that you know if yours doesn't go like that, how you're going to get it done. You might run into this problem as well. When you've got the ball joint nut raised up towards the top of the thread, can you see it there on camera, Dan? So if you see where I'm pointing there, there's the ball joint nut on the top of the thread. And what happens is when the ball joint's popped like it has, there's no resistance on that thread, so you're turning the nut and the thread. So what I've done is I've just got one of these little scissor jacks. Yeah, so just there, look. There's the thread, there's the nut, and then that's the ball joint itself. So what happens is then when you're turning at this point, it begins to turn the thread, so you'll never undo the nut. So what you have to do sometimes is just put a little bit of pressure back on there so that you can push the ball joint up into the housing a little bit, which allows you to just get some pressure on that thread to stop it turning, which means that usually then you can go back in and just turn off the nut off the top. So just something to be mindful of. We like to include all those little details. If you've run into that problem and you've never done one before, you won't be sure what to do, but that's how you do it. Something underneath and just raise it up and put that pressure on. Right, I'm gonna get that nut off then and we'll get the ball joint off and stop wasting time. So about 15 minutes in, we're at this point now where, so I got the ball joint popped, as we said, but then it was starting to turn the thread with it. So what I've had to do is lever it down so I can see the actual shaft of the ball joint in there, get some grips on, and then I was able just to finish off undoing that nut because that stopped the thread turning, and there we are. So it's an old nylock, so they are difficult to get off because that nylock seizes up, and then obviously you get rust and debris and crud and all that kind of stuff on the thread. But good news is now we can drop that away, undo it from the arm, and pop the new one in nice and easily. So let's get that done. Now that's all done, I'm on to the point of just undoing the 3 mounting bolts for the ball joint, which are just underneath here. As you can see, that's one. They're in a triangular pattern, so you've got one there and you've got one opposite this on the other front corner. Now, not all ball joints are like this. Some are actually part of the lower arm, which is this part here, known as the wishbone or lower arm. So some are actually formed as part of it. Now, whilst it is possible to replace just the joint in those arms, usually it requires a few special tools and it's a bit of a faff. So what people generally do is replace the whole arm because the arms don't cost a lot, usually 30 to 40 pounds for most cars. If your car has that, what you're going to have to do is essentially undo it as we've done here, drop the ball joint out. Then you'll also have a mounting bolt over here, and you'll have one at the front as well. 3 points of contact usually, 2 at the back, 1 at the front. So if your car is set up like that, you'll just have to undo those bolts. And usually they don't hold anything else in, they're just through the bush themselves, and you'll replace the whole arm. Again, a little bit more finicky, but not majorly difficult to do because it's just those same 3 points of contact, and you just have to undo anything that's mounted to the arm. Like on here, for instance, there's a leveling sensor for the suspension because it's got a sport adjust, like a dynamic suspension. So you just have to pop that joint off there. But other than that on here, there's nothing else you'd have to undo. So just to give you a heads up, if your car's set up like that, that's how you do it. But I'm going to carry on getting these bolts off and then we'll swap it over. When you've got that undone, then all you want to do, lever the arm down out the way, and then you can usually just pick the ball joint up. There's going to be a little jiggery pokery, and there we go. So there's the old one off. As you can see, compared to the new one, there's not much difference at all other than the fact that that's all rusty. Looks like it's been in the ocean for a while, and the joint will be relatively sloppy. So that's why you get the knocking from, and that's where it fails the MOT, when they can get a pry bar in and move that. So out with the old, in with the new. With the arm still levered down, you pop the new one into place like that, drop those studs through the relevant holes, make sure that's all in, and then it's as simple as guiding that pin into the housing. So the arms are under a little bit of spring anyway, usually, but they're not too difficult to move. So you can get everything where you need to get it without like pinching your fingers or anything like that. And then all we do, I'm going to secure these nuts onto the actual ball joint onto the arm first so that they're all in place. And then what I'll do is I'll deal with getting it put into the housing, pressed in and tightened up after that. So let's get these ones done up. I'll do it. Once the lower mounting bolts are done up, all we've got to do when you're at this point, you'll see we've already put that in the housing, but you'll just have to give the bottom of the brake disc, like the whole hub, a little bit of a wiggle, and then it will slide up into there. And then it's just a case of putting our new nylock on and tightening it down. Now again, really important when you tighten it down, make sure you don't get to a point where the nut is spinning the threads, because you won't tighten the joint up. But usually when it's a nice new thread like this, you won't have any of those problems, because if you tighten it, it'll pull it up into the taper and you'll be golden. So we'll just get our 19mm spanner on it now, do that up, and we should be away. And then we'll show you when it's all finished and in place. Right, there we go. That's nicely tightened. So as you can see, let me just take you in for a closer look. What we have then, the 3 mounting bolts underneath are on, the ball joint is in, new nut there, tightened up nicely, all the way latched down, so that is seated beautifully. So I know now that I can go ahead, pop the wheel back on, put the car down on the floor, and we're good as gold. I'll just go over, double check everything, make sure it's all tight, but that is as easy as that. That's how you change a ball joint. As I said before, if your car is set up with the lower arm, where the joint is encompassed into the lower arm, you will need to change the arm, but again, not massively difficult. Now, I'm going to finish this off and get it back on the floor and get it back round for the MOT pass, because all the other bits are sorted, and we will see you in the next one. But as always, if you found any value in this, please give us a like on the video and subscribe, because there's loads more content like this coming up very, very soon. And as always, if you want to tackle this yourself and you're unsure, feel free to ask any questions you've got in the comments, but we will see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves.